Hey everybody, welcome to the iConversations today. Today is the 29th of October, 2024. It's 8 a.m. in the West, 11 on the East Coast, 10 in Queensland, where time never changes, and it is 10:30 in Adelaide. So welcome everybody. We're glad to have you here. We have not one, not two, not three, but four Icon agents joining us today. And today we are joined by Chris Jansen, Bjorn Kunzel, Dee Mangan, and Peter Forbes. So everybody, welcome to iConversations.
Good morning.
Thanks,
Good morning,
Rob.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good morning.
Very good, very cool. Guys, we will just do some quick, brief intros, and then we'll jump into today's topic, which is all kind of around how you feel and how you approach the business. So we'll start with Peter Forbes. Because he's in Queensland and it's sunny there all the time. So, Peter, tell us where you are, where you practice. For anyone that doesn't know you, just give us a quick rundown.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. Peter Forbes. Yes, I live and work out of Dalby, Queensland. It's about 85 k's west of Toowoomba, which is it's also about 250 k's west of Brisbane. So, yeah, it's a regional area that I work out of. I've been doing this since 2008. So yeah, I'm in my 16th year in real estate. I am an old coot of real estate now. Not a dinosaur though. I'm not a
Love it. And Dee, you're from Queensland as well, but you haven't joined us from Queensland. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm in chilly Ballarat today. It
Yeah.
is chilly. I've been in real estate almost 15 years as well. And I really started in Mackay. So I'm based in Mackay, Queensland. And yeah, and we're very busy there. And somehow I've survived. It hasn't always been busy like a lot of places. So I guess now 15 years under my belt, I have experienced the highs and the lows. And still love it. Insanely, but still love it.
That's really good. It's one of those things where I think you kind of go through ebbs and flows in the market, in your own state of mind and stuff, but we'll jump into that a little bit later. Bjorn, where are you at in the world?
I am in Adelaide, South Australia, where I've lived my entire life. I've only moved 5 kilometres from where I grew up, so I'm a very boring person. But yeah,
Stable, mate. Stable. You're steady and stable.
Stable. That's right. I like that word, Rob. No, in all seriousness, I started real estate in the GFC back in 2008, 2009. So coming up to 16 years and working in the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide. And for me, it doesn't feel like work. I love real estate. Mike said to me the other day, if you didn't have to worry about money, what would you be doing if you could do anything? You know, patting dolphins, saving the whatever you could do. I said, I'd be doing real estate, I think, because I enjoy it. So yeah. I found my passion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we've saved the best to last, or something like that. Chris Jansen.
You've had the best up front, mate. So 41, dad, husband, been in the game 16 years, still on the entrepreneurial pursuit. It gets me up every day, not just real estate, but business, people, collaboration, fisherman, avid camper, love for all things outdoor, and just love giving back to our industry that's served me selflessly for 16 years now. Very privileged.
Cool. Well, today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. They're kind of the same thing, but wrapped slightly different. So depending on how we go for time, the first thing is I wanted to ask those of you with the bumps and bruises of 15, 16, whatever years in real estate, how do you stay motivated? I mean, I talk to agents all the time, right? So and I'm very blessed to be in that position. I talk to agents that are just always on, they're in work mode, they're doing it, they're going for it. I talk to other agents that they float in between a little bit. And I talk to other agents and it feels like all 4 tires are flat and they got a dead battery. I'm just wondering, how do people that are doing a business at the level that you are, how do you stay motivated? We'll start with you, Chris, and we'll work around the clock here.
I'm a creature of habit, mate. I do the same thing religiously every day. So I get up the same time. I do the same health regime every morning. I have 3 cups of coffee every
Wait,
day.
stop there for a
I have
second. For those that don't know, Chris does ice baths every morning, and so after that, how bad could real estate be? Like,
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm one for 5 days a week. I just stick to the same things that are in my control, and I focus on the first part of my day. I just have for 10 plus years. Do I feel it's helped me consistently sell 50 plus homes a year? Absolutely. But again, I just feel when I go into that limp mode, like you said, the battery's flat, the tires are down. That's generally because we're taking the easy option. That is maybe sleeping in a bit longer or don't worry about the tasks that are sitting there. So for me, it's about the first part of the day with my wake up time, my gym routine and health focus to then getting in the office and focusing on my to-do list every day. I've got my to-do list, my tasks, my 30 connects a day, 20 prospect with clients, 10 prospect for growth aspirations. I just like knowing every day that I get up methodically and I know that I'm sticking to that same thing every day. That might bore people. They think that's insane. That's crazy. That's the definition of
people just
madness.
saw your to-do list and they just clicked off. They were like,
But that's just how I am because I like to get to Friday.
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday is fun time, opens, all that good stuff. But I just focus on what I can control in those early stages of my 5 day week, Monday to Friday.
Would it be fair to say you have a
Methodically,
pretty clear vision of where you want to go in life?
ruthlessly, relentlessly.
Yeah,
It's if I'm not sleeping, I'm thinking about it.
yeah. Cool. Cool. We'll go to you, Peter Forbes.
Okay, well, Chris is impressive. I think he's a very impressive, not only real estate agent, but a human being. I mean, he's all sorted and he's got his checklist. I'm disappointed in his checklist a little bit because that's a very old-fashioned checklist I just saw there, but that would be the only thing I'm disappointed in. So look, I think what Rob listed out before, all those attributes, I've been that person many times over, all those different things, flat tires and I hate this life, I hate this game, all that. And it's probably the last 5 years that I've grown more comfortable with the whole scenario because there's always ups and downs in whatever you do, but in particular real estate. And I think the hardest thing is not letting other people's problems become your own. But yeah, I think Chris is right when he says it's about being organised. I think that's probably the most important thing in real estate is being organised and having a clear direction of where you need to go and what needs to be done. Chris is probably a little bit more professional in the way he operates with that. But I think I never thought of myself as an organised person or structured at all, and probably until I joined EXP. And I think the admin ladies at EXP have told me a few times, wow, you're organised and you're on track and everything's in line. We don't have to chase you for anything. And I was surprised at that. But I think the majority of people aren't organised enough. And I think that's the big thing. And it's a weight off your shoulders when, Chris is filling out his list and ticking things off. It's a weight off your shoulders when all the tasks are done. And I think that's probably the most important thing. I use a checklist system, Trello, that I use, and it's a daily thing, just the tasks that I have to do with my real estate listings each day, twice a day, all day. I'm looking at that and ticking things off as they need
Do
doing.
you use Trello both desktop and app version on your phone?
Yeah. Yep. Someone who works with me recently said in the property management department said, because I have Trello in the property management stuff and other sides of the business that they use, and I make them use it and all that sort of thing. And I had someone the other day said, they're putting such petty things on the list. And I just looked at them and I said, the whole thing's petty. Everything on the checklist is petty, but there's 1,000 petty things on that list. And if you do 995 of them, you're going to do very well.
Yeah.
So
Very interesting. Dee, what about you? Yeah, how do you move forward sometimes? You know, like we were talking, there's people at different levels, and as Pete said, sometimes we all flow through those levels.
Yeah, I think everyone has the impression that real estate is just cool. I've just put this sign up, I've got this listing, and I've sold it. You know, whatever your market is, quick, slow, it doesn't matter, there'll be judgment. But no one really understands totally what goes on either to get that listing, everything that comes in between. It's an emotional roller coaster. Um, I hit my highs and lows. I think mental health is a big thing, an awareness that is now coming to light in this industry. And I think I will be kind of the underdog and throw a spanner in the works. But, you know, these icon conversations are to encourage others. I'm not as organized as any of these guys have just said. And sometimes I amaze myself how I get by, but I think how much life would be easier. So I go through, I have struggle with consistency in a lot of what I do. So if I share this, I will be vulnerable in sharing this, but also that if there are others out there like me, you can still succeed in what you do. You can still, I guess within all that, I always make my clients number one. So if something has to wait, and yes, if it does become something in my life I have to wait to do, I'll do it because I take that commitment, the responsibility. So that I am still working on, but I think I've been self-motivating. A lot of the things that I do, I like working as an independent because it allows me to be more creative. So I think creativity has helped me through. So anytime you see something all of a sudden come on that I've done is like, okay, she must be really trying to get motivated here, but it works for me. So the creator in me, as soon as I've got that little fresh thing that I can play around with, I think that helps me. Listening in, like, you know, the podcasts, the shows that you do are incredible. I don't always get to hear them as they happen, but I love then working in my space. And if I am feeling a bit slow, I just start listening to you, other agents. I find that we've got so much. Chris, Bjorn, everyone really that contributes. Since being with EXP, that's probably one of the strengths. And yes, our market has improved in Mackay, but I also totally believe you know, the people I get to hang out with, even if it is on my screen or phone, has been really a big influence. And you can see in my results and what's been happening. So, yeah, but you do have to, if it's up to me, if it's going to be, it's up to me. But I go through highs and lows. And then I just kick myself up the butt and say, get out there and do it. This is what you're choosing to do. If not, walk away. So,
I love that perspective, Dee.
yeah.
Bjorn, what about you? Staying motivated. You already told us this is what you love. You would do it rather than pat dolphins. What, what, how do you stay motivated?
For me, it all comes down to my why. I'm nowhere near structured like Chris is at all. I just do what needs to be done each day. It's all about my why. Everything that I do is about my why. My why is my beautiful son Marcus and my beautiful daughter Skylar and my beautiful wife Annie, and I'm the provider for all three of them. And without me, they've got nothing. So what keeps me motivated and moving is them. Like, they rely on me, and I do things for, not for cars or flashy things. I don't like flashy at all. I do it for them. And so when I feel like I can't be bothered, like today, I can't be bothered today, Rob, to be completely honest with you. I'm having one of those days. I've been at my new house ripping up carpets until midnight last night, so I really can't be bothered today, but I've got to go and do a property video. I've got to follow up some finance. I do have a calendar which has got tasks in there which I need to do. I've got to go and do a video shoot, got to put 2 properties online. So I just know what I need to do, and I need to get that done. And I just get it done, because if I don't get it done, my family don't eat. So my motivation is really simple. My motivation is my family around me. And I don't have a choice. If I don't get up and get off my backside when I can't be bothered, then my family don't have anything. So I can't provide for my family. So for me, my motivation is my family.
Yeah, I think that's really good as well. And for those that are watching the replay, what you're seeing is the fact that you can have such diverse personalities, diverse setups, diverse whatever, and you can still kick massive goals. And so when everybody's got a different personality type, and we recently did the disc profile with us as managers. Now, a good portion of real estate agents that are more entrepreneurial, they are either a high D or a high I, but the majority of real estate agents aren't high Ds and aren't high Is. They are the other, either the S or the C quadrant. And so you see that in their production. You'll see that on how they approach problems, how they look at challenges. And so it's just interesting to relate and see how people are structured in that way. I want to go maybe a little bit deeper in how you stay organized. Now, we've heard a little bit from Chris, a little bit from Pete, and whatnot, but Chris, take us back. Were you just naturally organized? Like, you just came out of the womb with a to-do list and a calendar, or is that something that even us mere mortals can learn, or what?
I think he did, Rob. I think he did.
This is going to be great because I've had this conversation so many times with my wife, because we have this debate. She's like, "You just came out differently than what I did." I'm like, "No, love. We are chemically balanced the same way. It's just what we do daily that creates the habits that you see before you today, right?" Bjorn raises a really good point. He can't be bothered today, but busyness today creates stability in life, right? So even though he can't be bothered, he's still busy. Where I see people drift in life, whether it be in personal life, business life, real estate, they have too much time of doing nothing, right? Now, I've experienced it in my own household with my own wife. She's a little bit lost at the moment, right? She's been a stay-at-home mum for 18 months, doesn't want to go back to nursing. What do I do? How do I leverage this time, right? Because she sees the busyness, the stability, and all the things my why, like Bjorn, of what I provide. Pete, I just want to get back to your note, right? So yes, I still do handwritten to-do notes. There's a couple of checklists that I run by each and every day, right? So my database is my CRM activity task that's prospecting for future business today. My to-do list here is my ad hoc stuff that drops into my mind throughout the day. It could be inspirational, it could be marketing stuff, it could be just ad hoc stuff. Then you can have cloud-based to-do lists. So some people use Airtasker, ClipUp, Monday.com, Trello, of the like. So I have a number of checklists throughout my day, but getting back to your question, Rob, no, I didn't come out of the womb like this. And I used to love sleeping in, and I'd never liked the cold bath, and I hated going to the gym. But it's the 30 days of making or breaking something, right? So if you want to give up smoking, generally, if you make it past the 30 days and you surround yourself with the right people that don't smoke or influence you down that slippery slope, by 31 days, it becomes generally that habit. So wherever you're at, no, I wasn't born like this, but it took time to embed it, that now it's just part of my daily routine and structure. So in answer to the question, Rob, as I've said to my wife, I didn't come out of the womb like this. You just ask my mother how I used to be, I'm sure, as a teenager and adolescent, right? But it's just how you train your mind with behavioral actions daily over a month period. It will then start to become the customary norm of the way you live, walk, talk, do business and life on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. So there's hope for the rest of us. That's good. And Pete, we'll just touch briefly on you, because you're quite organized, we know, as well. You were incidentally organized, like you didn't think you were organized, then you got around some more agents and went, oh, actually, I am organized. Tell us about, did you learn that as a child, or how did you get into the using those tools and such that you use?
I'm not really sure. Yeah,
well, you didn't grow up using Trello because it wasn't around. So how did you make the transition?
I probably had lists from a young age that I'd put on my wall in my bedroom. I probably had that sort of thing. They were quite aggressive when I was younger. I was probably an angry kid.
Yeah.
So they were probably a bit angrier, whereas now things are a bit more placid. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I think I've probably, inadvertently been just organised. I can't explain it.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I think we're all organized in a way, but the way that it manifests might be slightly different. Bjorn, how do you approach staying organized as a component of your business?
So I run everything through my calendar. I don't do any tasks through Agent Box or anything like that. I don't have prospecting tasks and all this sort of stuff. But there's two things that I do. I run to a calendar religiously, and I make sure that whoever is in front of me at any given time feels like they are God in my eyes. And that is how I enable my business to keep circulating. Like people say to me, Bjorn, what you see is what you get. You're very real, very raw, very real, right? Like 95% of people that I sell to, because of how I make them feel, will come back and resell with me. So I just make a real big focus on whoever's with me at any particular point in time, making them feel like they are the only person that counts in the world. And then I just run to a calendar. And I find that by doing that, people do business with people they like, trust, and know are competent. Everyone knows I'm competent. So it's just the like, being liked and being trusted. So I just try to instill that with every single person I meet. So then it's a one thing you do. Like, for example, a settlement of a property, call them up, awesome, get really excited, go to the house with them, take photos with them, do a video of them opening up the house with the keys. You know, you spend half an hour talking to them about the weather or their dog or whatever. Don't just, here you go, here's your gift, bye, right? Make them feel really, really special. Give them an hour of your time, you know, have a drink with them, have a beer with them. Remember what they like to drink. Do they not drink? All that sort of stuff. And that's my organization, because that leads to my repeat business rather than me having to have a massive task list. I do have a list of to-do things, but you guys know me. I'm a bit of a free spirit. I just sort of do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And I just try to, like I said, really develop those relationships with people, which takes a hell of a lot of those tasks away, because I don't need to keep in contact with them 75 touch points over 12 months to lose the business. They're not going anywhere else. Once they meet me, that's it. I'm their guy. They're not going anywhere else. They love me. They're not going anywhere. So I try to eliminate a whole heap of tasks by just making people fall in love with who I am. So I sort of cheat. I found a cheat code, Rob.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Dee, I want to grab your thoughts on staying organized.
My biggest challenge. I'm very much similar to Bjorn. And that's also the feedback I get. I decided I'm just going to be me. I can't be all these other perfect other agents. I can't be all that. And again, I'm going to swing it in for EXP, because of our model is you don't have to meet the numbers so high to get a successful outcome personally and financially. So with that, I have got a couple of decades up on everyone, I think, here. So I'm still old school, and ADHD brain, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So I still like my notebook. I carry everywhere with me, my diary still. I can't handle digital, just that. And it's really a notebook the same size. And I usually divide it up, and I have my brain dump, which can start Sunday or wherever. So I have one page I leave totally for a brain dump, and then I leave another for messages, just in case I'm on the move and the run. And then I transfer everything over into blocks now. I used to have a really massive list, and so now I don't, and I use highlighters quite a lot. But I have boards still, you know, listings coming in. I think I find them very useful. I can just look up whether it's a magnet in my office. I have a fridge and whole kitchen set up there. And so anyone I've spoke to is pending possibility listings, appraisals that I've done, they go on. Any current listings in place, solds, and I use boards around me. So I really need to see stuff with it. Yeah, and then I kind of just start and I just work through, like if it's a Monday, you know, callbacks, some of it is systematic like that. I can't say prospecting is, because and I'm speaking of how things are now, and because I don't do a lot of prospecting, and you know, that's had its impact, because I can see my farming area because I let it go, but I was busy enough. And it's one of those things where, you know, you keep it up. So the higher percentage is calls. I'm actually called in to do the listing, not competing. I do have a few, and it feels really foreign now, because usually they've called me. So that can make you, well, not so much lazy, but you know, you're not in that prospecting mode all the time. But yeah, and I just break up and just generally that's it. Monday I start, okay, who are my current clients? Have I done everything I need to do, and work through my list? I try not to beat myself up when I don't get through that list as much, and probably just more awareness when there's all the distractions that go on. So in my case, my systems are each day I just try to get that little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And
I like.
and just if I don't, I'm up very late finishing
Yeah.
off.
Fair enough. I can relate to what each of you has said there, and either personally or through observation of other agents. I know that the easiest time for me was when we had a very slow market in WA, and you were carrying 20, 30, 40 listings at a time. You just had to do it. Like you just had to do it. And I think when one of the challenges is with agents is as listings dry up, or they're selling quickly, it leaves you with too much free time, which is good if you know what to do with the free time, but it's very bad if you don't know what to do with the free time.
I missed something there because mine is selling quickly. I don't know about this free time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, in a slow market, it might have taken you 3 months to sell a
Yeah.
property. So that's 3 months of opens, that's 3 months of, private
Routine.
viewings, that kind of stuff. And now you might be selling the same number of properties, but it's taking you a week. So you don't have that extended bits and pieces. I'd like to get your feedback on if I can set a framework. So we've got agents that are in the sunset period of their career. We've got agents that are at the start of their career. We've got agents with very young children. We've got agents with teenage children making life choices. We've got agents with that are single parents. We've got agents that are dealing with parents aging and having to look after parents, and all those kind of things. What advice would you give to an agent that's going through these different seasons of life to, they come on, they're trying to keep the tires pumped up, by watching eye conversations and whatnot, but then they've got real life as well. How can they stay consistent, but also happy, have a little bit of happiness in there? Chris, we'll start with you.
Sure. So a few tips. You still got to have chunks out of your day, right? Whether you want to sell 100 homes a year, 50 homes a year, or 10 homes a year, there's chunks of your day that you need to dedicate to keep your business and pushing it forward, right? Whether it's 1 sale this month or 10 sales this month. So like we said before, some busyness throughout your day creates stability in life and business, right? So for me, if you want to sell 50 homes a year plus, I have to dedicate 2 hours a day to prospecting to keep that, that cart pushing along, horse and cart chugging along. The second thing is collaboration. This is a great example of it. Like I looked at every model before EXP that is a similar hybrid option, but it was setting you up in isolation as independent officers or operators, but there's no real unity in coming together. I jump on these sessions every week because it keeps me sharp. I talk to many of the faces and names on this screen every day, just about, because we're in the trenches together. We're talking about what's happening there. How's your market going? Are you seeing as many buyers, as many volume of offers coming through, right? So just keeping connected within the industry through collaboration is super important, which leads me to my third point. Just get around it, right? So whether it's you come to one open inspection with somebody who's nearby you on the weekend, or as Haley, who just joined us recently, did all the opens with us throughout the weekend, just by being around activity, it will create opportunity. And how much you want to take from that, whether it's 10 homes this month you want to sell one, you just determine how much activity you want to be around.
Yeah. Okay. Bjorn, we might pop over to you and get your take on it. You've got 2 kids. Life's easy. You never have any distractions or anything.
No, life's pretty good for me. But obviously, when it comes to organization, like we've got Agent Box, right? If you know how to use Agent Box and you put things into Agent Box properly, there's automation that can just happen there that can keep it going. I've got Active Pipe that sends out just sold, just listed. So I've got automated prospecting systems. I've got Sean Egan doing stuff for me. Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Home Pass keeps you organized as well. So when I say that I just sort of do what needs to be done, yes, I do, but there's systems that we have access to as EXP agents that are in the background that everybody should be maximizing and utilizing. And if you are at any stage of your career and you have your system set up, so you have a database that's actually not just on pen and paper, but it's actually in a computer system, and you can identify them as potential sellers, potential buyers, past buyers, and so on and so forth, and you can categorize people. You can have things taken care of for you on an automated level to a certain degree. So I think no matter who you are at EXP, take advantage of all the systems that we've got, right? Home Pass Premium is an amazing system, right? And I've been going through it with Tim a little bit, Tim Hosking, because he wasn't using it with us at the beginning, but now he is, and he's like, wow, it's great. Now it's got a few teething problems that we need to work through and things like this. But it's an amazing system to keep you organized and keep you structured. And, you know, so easy to group SMS people. People have 100% open rate on SMS. So there's lots of little systems that we've got at EXP as part of our subscription for only $275 a month. But there's people that probably aren't using half of them. So just start using those systems that we've got access to for starters, because that can take a lot of stress away from you. The one thing I did was, when I first started my career, is I bought a property and then I invested as soon as I had equity in the property next door. And as soon as I had equity, I bought another property. And as soon as I had equity, I bought another property. And as soon as I had equity, I bought another property. So I'm in a fortunate situation where I've got multiple properties, right? So at the end of every day, no matter what's going on, I can have the worst day in the world and I can go, you know what? If I sell everything, I'm a millionaire living in Bali. So who cares? Doesn't matter. So that takes away from the whole stresses and anxieties. And that's got nothing to do with working in real estate. That's just to do with me getting into the market and just taking advantage of opium, other people's money, in investing in property as a real estate agent. So you've got to do things outside of just selling real estate to set yourself up financially as well. So that way you can be a little bit, you know, blasé. Hey, I don't have to stress too much, because if I don't earn any money for the next 10 years, I can just sell everything and go to Bali and live like a king for the rest of my life. So the worst case scenario is not that bad.
We got Bjorn's backup plan.
Yeah, and that takes away, because I'm like a high functioning anxiety person, right? But whenever I get like that, I just have to stop and think, Bjorn, the worst case scenario is not that bad. Just chill, just relax. Because anxiety is the one thing that a lot of agents will experience throughout their careers. Anxious about too many listings, anxious about not enough listings, anxious about where the next business is coming from, anxious about, have you done the right thing with the current. There's just anxiety everywhere throughout the real estate industry, and anxiety it's not a nice thing, you know. And Dee touched on it before about mental health. Chris has got his routines, you know, his ice baths and getting up early in the morning and all that sort of stuff, which keeps him going. So I think at the end of the day, if you're moving, you can always, as long as you're doing something, as long as you're keeping yourself moving, and as long as you're utilizing the systems that we've got, I think everybody here can find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dee, what about you? How do you balance work life and staying happy and grandkids and developments and everything that you're involved in?
It's a challenge. I think most people, the sooner you learn to accept that you can't be happy every day. I probably wake up and, you know, as I said, and even with people starting to say age is just a number, well, I think your brain and lack of sleep affects that. But I start my day with gratitude. I have a journal. I sometimes wag it if I get busy or open my computer, but that really sets me up for the morning. And, you know, my first thing, gratitude, is I'm just grateful I've woken to another new day filled with opportunity. And then I look out to my garden. I'm lucky my little studio, except when the weeds are there, you know, I can be greeted with butterflies. I can hear the water, and I'm just grateful of my sight. You know, I've been in a scary place. So just those basic things. And if you absorb them, nothing seems so hard. And then I just tell myself everything is going to be okay. And then within that is then you have to acknowledge, right, are you going to get up and do it, or are you going to waste time? And it goes through that process. So I have days that I just, exactly like Bjorn was saying, now, if it's a day and I really just don't feel like doing anything, because even if you flounder, I find that you're not as, you know, effective in what you're doing. So I will look at my diary, and if there's something absolutely important, contact, inspection or something like that, I'll slot that in. And then if I'm going to be in that shutdown mode, I work with it and I feel better for it. I'll take off to the beach. But it is, yeah, I find in real estate that is really tough because most who are, I think, unless I'm the only one, it's always in your head. And it is hard to when you meet up with people and conversation. So I try really not to bring up real estate. I don't know how well I do it. And even when I've gone out in groups and someone will go off to the loo, and then I say to them, well, look, if they're talking about real estate because you've gone to the loo, I haven't started it, you know? So what I'm saying is it is a topic that even if you're not in real estate, people just want to talk about it. And but probably, again, there it comes to that being energized with it, because I think it is a mentally draining industry. So, you know, I don't have, like I come and see my kids, but everyone's in another state or another country. So I do spend a lot of time working on my own, by myself inside my head. We have a little team in Mackay. We meet up every now and then, but we're all on a different page and level. So, you know, as an independent, you get that. So it is, you know, you need to sort of focus on making it happen, I guess. So it's a little bit of everything for me, but I find very rewarding, like with the day, the job, you know, when you get to those settlements and you see everyone happy. I love the challenge in getting my clients a higher price than what they expected, you know. So all those little things just fill you up. I suppose they fill your cup up.
That's good, making a difference in people's lives. Peter Forbes, we'll conclude our session today with you, mate. How do we find life balance and being happy? You've actually got some pretty good strategies around this.
Have I?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Bjorn, he said use the tools that we've got, and I think that's very important, to use things that help you out and automate things. I don't use all the tools that Bjorn's talking about, but I think most people can pick out the things that suit them and use those things. The last 3 or 4 months, I've actually been using I've got like an online assistant. What do you call them?
A VA, a virtual
Yeah, I've got a
assistant.
VA. So the last 3 or 4 months, I've stepped into that scenario. I've tried it in years gone by, and it didn't work out for me. But I'm keeping an open mind. I don't want to be bogged down in crap. So yeah, I've got this VA, and she's working out brilliantly. She's just doing all that stuff that I just do not want to do, and that's freeing up more time. I'm at home 3 afternoons a week when my kids get home from school. Yeah, so that's a great thing. And, you know, if you can free up your time using different tools, and I've used a VA, that's taking it probably to the next step, and it's an expensive route, but there's a lot of things that you can do, like Bjorn said, that make your job easier. And I think the other side of that too is being very careful with people just who, you know, go out of their way to abuse your time. And I've probably, it's taken me a long time to realize that you don't have to drop everything for every dickhead that wants to look at a house at a time that doesn't suit you. Like, just have your times. I find most people, if you give them a time, they'll actually come and work around what you're doing. So yeah, that's probably been it took me probably a decade to figure that out. But yeah, you can be very, you can be too easygoing, particularly with buyers.
Yeah, too easygoing. Pete, just finish off and tell us, you take your family on holidays.
I do.
That's part of your game plan of making, you know, you work hard and play hard. Have you always done that, or have you prioritized that as your family's gotten older?
Oh, look, a few years ago, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer, but we joined a vacation club, and it actually gets you to plan proper holidays where you're going somewhere, you're taking the time, and you're planning out what you're doing. So that's something we focused on, my wife and I, a long time ago. And it's a good idea. When you're in business for yourself, I mean, Dee's talking about being an independent, you often forget about time off. you completely forget about it, and it'll just you could go. I hear it all the time. People, it's been 3 years since we've done anything or gone anywhere. So that's not where Liz and I wanted to be. So we sort of committed to this vacation club, and it's got us looking at, where are we going next, booking the flights. And often while we're nearing the end of a holiday, we're already planning the next one and what time we're doing that. It's, I'm probably easy to take on a holiday. My wife, Liz, is absolutely hopeless. You have to book her in and force her to do it. She's probably the worst one for that. So it's probably more for her than me. If you told me, well, actually, my brother last week, he wants to go and watch Live Golf, which is in Adelaide, Bjorn and Chris. So Steve and I, my brother, we've booked in to see the Live Golf next year. So I'm probably a bit more impromptu than what my wife is. But I think it's important to have, some allotted time that you do your own thing. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're not there and if you miss a few sales over it, who cares? If you're doing well, and it doesn't matter if you lose 2 or 3 sales over it. But most of your sellers understand as well, the good ones. You just say, look, I'm away this week. John's going to fill the void while I'm away, but he's not going to ring you only if he's got someone wanting to look at your house in that time. Now that I've got a VA, it'll be even less negative when I'm away.
Yeah. What a fantastic session. Legends, all of you in your own way, your own wiring. It's fantastic to talk about this, because sometimes we don't get a chance to talk about this. Sometimes we do just talk about the nuts and bolts of how do I do this, how do I do that, or doing software. We forget that there is a very human side to being a real estate agent, and appreciate you guys sharing from your heart, authentically, about what makes you guys tick. So thanks everyone for joining us. Set us here live, and for those of you watching the replay, we know that you got some value out of that. We wish you all the best for the next week in your business, and thank you for joining us on iConversations. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, guys.